Hello again. A little bit of a sore throat today, and I'll try to keep the video a little bit shorter as well, but quick update on wiring and electrical. After my last video, I realized that I still don't have any ignition source in the car. No MSD ignition box or coil wired up, anything like that. So I found that I had a lot of wiring left to do. But I've been working on it today. Thanks again, Allison and James, for letting me come out here and do this. It is after midnight. I'm tired. I'm going to go inside here in a minute. But let me flip the camera around and show you what we've got. Nothing here in the back changed at all. Just want to start back here so we can turn our power on. This is the cleanest it's been this session. It's pretty much a mess still. All right. This thing first. So yes, that is wood, plywood stuff. 8-second rated, 150 miles an hour. Whether or not that's true, I have no idea, but I had a really hard time spacing out the inverter and the ignition box so that it would fit in this airbag hole. So I just didn't have a good, efficient way to mount everything with the 1/4-inch aluminum plate that I have, like this one. Just because I needed everything to be at an angle, because back in there you can see the roll bar and it's just an oddball height, so I had to stack these things just right and mount everything up solidly there. But it's in, it's not going anywhere. The whole car shakes if I move that. Had to trim up inside the dash a little bit to make room for the MSD box, but I think it worked out pretty good. I had to relearn everything about how to wire this MSD box back up because it's an older box. Hopefully it still works okay. I haven't tested it in 10 years, but nothing's really changed, so we'll see. It's kind of nice because although the Holly has a built-in 2-step rev limiter and all of that stuff, I can set that stuff on here as well as kind of a emergency, so like a hard limit in case something happens and it over revs. This thing can be my backup, my catch for it. Also, it's nice because it has a tach output, because I did wire the tach up and the shift light up. And it's got its own 2-step system, so I'll probably use the Holly with the trans brake in conjunction with the trans brake for launching this thing, so that it can control its own 2-step and ignition and everything else. However, I thought this would be cool. If I ever did any roll racing or anything, I could probably use this on its own separate button as a rolling anti-lag, because I can just activate it on its own and I can set it at 2,000 RPM, 3,000 RPM, whatever I want. So I thought that was kind of cool. I have yet to wire that up. I've really only wired the activation, power, and ground for this, and the tachometer output. My ignition coil wires are here and here. They'll get run up through the firewall later on. This is my ignition control wire that's going to come from the Holly. Somewhere in there there's a wire to tie in for it, and things will go to the distributor and so forth, but that'll work. So get this thing halfway wired. I got the inverter wired up, so it's ready to go now. Yeah, got some fan back there, so he should be set. Went ahead and wired in the headsets to the rugged radio, took all this apart and kind of remounted everything, and also wired in my radio for communicating with outside vehicles if we need to. So that stuff should all be set. And then I did wire up run the wires for the power and ground, and the signal wire. The yellow wire is the signal wire. I think I'm going to run it down next to the transmission since it's just right there, and put my temp sensor close to the transmission for the gauge. And but I noticed the backlight wasn't working, or something's going on with it when I was testing it. So should be, I think this wire was, yeah. So this just provides power to the transmission temperature gauge, and also to the tach and the shift light, which actually I didn't check the shift light. I'll have to check that here in a minute. But once everything was wired, I remounted everything here, buckled it down, and just put some simple self-tappers in here to hold it in. It was already a pretty firm fit, but everything still works. The Holly activation wire, or the activation button for the ignition, activates the Holly, and it also turns on my ignition box now. I had to redo that, so got power down there, power up here, and then same thing as before, fuel pump, trans fan. I don't remember this one. Oh, the rugged radio. There we go. So, walk around here real quick. Spent a lot of time on my back this go around. This thing was fun to wire in, and I couldn't find my mount for it anymore, so it has a custom zip tie mount to hold it to the roll bar. One down low, one up high, and it doesn't go anywhere now. So actually I didn't check my shift light. Let's check this live. Let's see here if I can fall into the car. Okay, my shift. Oh, it's not going to work because it's not running. If it was running, I'd be able to program my shift light. So, I'll probably be shifting up in here, something like that. Because I don't want to go. I can't go that high. This old Ford 351, it's probably going to be killing it to go 6,500. So $6,000 or so. I'll try to shift and can run it that way. And the shift light's just right there. It won't come on right now because I don't, like I said, the car's not running, so I don't have a way to test it. But yep. Turn that back off. I'll sit up there. Cool. So that's wiring 14, round 14 or whatever. I realized I did not get to the horns. I have to do that. Transmission temp sensor, I got to finish. My ignition wires, the coil, some of which I've got sitting back in there. Yeah, so a little more to do, but making it. It's almost to the point where electrically it would run. Few things, like I said, that left to do, but it's getting pretty close at this point. So. Fun stuff. Thanks for watching. See you later, and have a good night.